gay pride on the streets of Durban. South Africa has gone further than any other country in the world by enshrining gay rights in its constitution. But this legal protection doesn't always guarantee that people enjoy these rights in practice. This is Millicent Gaika. In May last year, she became the latest lesbian in South Africa's poor black townships to be subjected to a brutal sexual attack. Like many other lesbians, she underwent an ordeal known as corrective rape, carried out by gangs of youth who claim they intend converting their victims to heterosexuality. These attacks take place despite South Africa's laws aimed at protecting gay people. In 13 other African countries, homosexuality is also permitted by law. But in the remaining 38 African nations, being gay is a crime. In 3, it is punishable by the death penalty. Nowhere is the debate more polarized than here in Uganda.
It is a sin. You can't have sex with another man. This is really contrary to God.
I'm also against homosexuality because it's totally against our culture.
Life imprisonment. It's a fair what? It's a fair punishment.
Where do these attitudes come from? One place is the church. Pastor Martin Semper preaches to students at Makerere University in Kampala.
The standard is a man is to marry what? A woman, and the two shall become one. Therefore, if you have others, such as a man with another man, you have fallen short of the standard. A man with an animal, a donkey, a goat, you have fallen short of this. Jesus laid the standard.
Last year, a Ugandan newspaper published the names and photographs of 100 alleged homosexuals and called for them to be hanged. The newspaper's editor, Giles Muhame, claims that homosexuals in Uganda recruit young people, encouraging them to be gay. It's this practice which he says justifies the death penalty.
In my view, I also support this man. They should be hanged.
You'd like to see homosexuals?
Yes, and the hanging should be public.
The newspaper's publication of the identity of alleged homosexuals coincided with a new anti-gay bill introduced into Uganda's parliament by lawmaker David Bahati. It calls for life imprisonment for homosexuals and the death penalty for aggravated or repeated cases. If his bill were to become law, all Ugandans would be required to report homosexuals to the authorities. Similar anti-gay initiatives continue to be discussed in other African countries. Sylvia Tamale has conducted research into the history of same-sex relationships in Africa. She rejects the view that homosexuality is un-African.
Gay people have always lived among communities. Everyone, in the village would know that so-and-so, sleeps with another man. But they were not vilified. They were not praised, but they were not vilified. That's my point. So all these anti-gay sentiments came from outside.
So guys, what do you think about that video? And in South Africa have given them the rights to do the gay right. So South Africa is one of the only African countries currently that allow these kind of marches in the country. But at the same time, it's still illegal to a point, but not as most other countries. And also, you also saw there in Uganda where they published 100 names in the newspaper of gay people and how they wanted to get hanged and blah blah blah. But this video was before the law passed. The law that passed recently, this was like before, so it's not something after. It's before. I'm not saying that. So this is the lens to where Ugandan citizens goes to by trying to eradicate gays from their society. But again, you see the march that was in South Africa, and that's the only thing. No, I don't think that's the only country that allows it, even though it's illegal still, but not to a point where they actually go and look for them. You have some people that still do what I see in the video where what they did to the young lady. But if you know these things, and I'm honestly what I keep trying to, and this is what I don't understand. If you're a gay, be gay, that's fine, especially by me. But don't try to push your lifestyle on us and say we must accept it. No, do what you want to do in your private home. That's my thought. But when I want to tell us we have to accept it and then also forcing our kids now to exposing our young kids to this. Remember, one of the easiest minds to mold is a child. So when it forces on a child and a child sees and the mold is into this, the child gonna accept it automatically without even knowing that's not what they want. Because kids are very impressionable. So that's my take on this. Do you in the private, but don't tell me what I have to accept, and don't tell me like that you're gonna do you and then you're gonna become a fussel and then become in public. As most heterosexual people don't go around in public just showing all these things that they did, these other side trying to force upon us. Right now, especially in Jamaica, Jamaica Prime Minister just have an issue with America, where America trying to send down a gay couple to come be the ambassador from Jamaica to America, and the Prime Minister refused it. Now they get all up in arms. Africa is a perfect example. Africa is a country that polygamy is legal, where a man can have multiple wives. Polygamy is illegal in Europe and America. You don't see African countries forcing American and Europeans to accept our polygamy lifestyle. But why is it they're forcing the gay lifestyle in African countries? And it's not an African thing. No matter what nobody tell me, if you go as far as I can go, in history, pre-colonizers and pre-invaders, we never had polygamy. Was always the African thing. It was never gay. Gay was a Roman thing, a Greek thing, and those set of people thing. It was never an African thing. So I want people to stop this conversation about if it's African or not. It's not. It's not Caribbean either. So anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. As always, tell a friend. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Boom.